Welcome to the Weekly Mac. Today we talk about friendship, friends for life and friends who turn into enemies. We hope our two guests fall into the first category. They are two speakers and friends who have joined their talents, Bosch and Salva López. Two other friends test their wits against each other. Patricia Escalona and Màrius Serra take on the challenges of Sergi Cervera in our quiz Guess What? They are friends and a couple. We'll hear one of the best piano duos of Europe, Lama and Sofia Cabruja. This is the Weekly Mac, your talk show in English, hosted by Marcella Topor.
Friends will be friends with a little help from my friends. Can we still be friends? If there are thousands of songs about friendship, it is because friendship is one of the best things we have. And our two guests today are professional speakers, risk takers, and two friends who now deliver their talks together. We'll meet them in a moment, but first please have a look at the glossary of words that will come up in the interview.
Today's guests have lots of adventures and jobs. And to carry out jobs successfully, you have to commit to them. When you commit to a task, or you are committed to it, or even when you commit yourself to do something, it means that you obligate yourself to do it, and therefore can be trusted to finish it. If you commit to a project and are in charge of it, then you have to manage it. That is, you will have to deal with it and make conscious decisions about it. You can manage a project, your own business, but you can also manage risk or danger. If friends share love or friendship, enemies share hatred. Hatred is a noun derived from the verb to hate, so we can say that to hate someone is to feel hatred for them. There is also another interesting word related to emotions, moving. This adjective is used with something that makes us feel an intense emotion, such as sadness or love. For example, a sad moving film.
One of our two guests today is an adventurer who takes part in ultra-marathons, has been to the South Pole, the Everest, and participated in the Paris-Dakar Rally many times. And the other one is a keynote speaker and musician. They deliver together a talk called Speaktacular. What brings them together? Well, let's ask them. Well, Bosch and Salva López.
Hello.
Thank you. You're welcome. And well, first of all, because we are talking about friendship today. Tell us how you first met and how you became friends.
Well, you
Who
start
starts?
off.
Albert?
We became friends because of books, maybe, no? Because we were writing books and we had launched several books with the same publisher, you know?
Okay.
And we met in several meetings of the company they organized, and we had very good feelings with him and with Joan, and we said, why don't we were speakers already, and we said, why don't we do a talk together, and we have special skills. You are a musician, I'm an adventurer, he's a psychologist. We can put that together, and from the authenticity communicate a lot. Maybe we will earn money, maybe not, but we will enjoy a lot. We knew that, and we really enjoy a lot. We don't earn a lot of money, but we are happy.
You're having fun. Well, the third partner you mentioned is Joan Plans, no? A psychologist.
Exactly.
And basically you put together three worlds, business, music, and adventure.
Exactly.
Yes? So the talk is called Speaktacular. What is it about?
Speaktacular is an innovation experiment, I mean, in the world of speeches, right? So we wanted to mix worlds that were previously separated, just to deliver reflections and ideas and concepts, business concepts for business people, right? So what I do is called music thinking for business people. What he does probably could be called adventure thinking for business people. And what Joan Plans does probably is freaky management, which is is related to the world of comics and the world of movies and superheroes, like, I don't know, Spider-Man or whatever. So we wanted to mix those worlds just to make some thoughts about, leadership, teamwork, change, and many other concepts, business concepts for people.
And always from the authenticity, because we are not actors, we are the real characters. He's really playing the guitar, and I'm really doing adventures, Joan is really a psychologist. I mean, and that makes it true, what we say, and connects with the emotions of the people.
There is a term I would like you to explain to us, edutainment.
Edutainment.
Interesting term. What does it mean?
Edutainment is the mixture between education and entertainment, right? So it is this communication strategy that mixes makes people think, but while we are entertaining them and they're having a good time, they're laughing and they're having a very participative time with us, because all we do is very interactive with the audience. That's edutainment.
Another term I like is mind shaking. Albert, can you tell us what it means?
Yeah, because we are not only there only for entertain them, or even we are not there just to show them some concepts. We are there to shake their minds, to provoke, to impact, and to let them think the contrary what they're saying, or from another side, get out of the box, on the concepts. And we try to, that's our goal, really.
How does your audience react after this show? What's the feedback you get from them?
The feedback is always overwhelming. People really enjoy the show because they are constantly challenged to say something, to raise their hands, to do things. So it's not a passive audience, but a very active participants. So yeah, the reaction is always fine, always good, right?
The only problem sometimes I'm a little bit angry because they say, but is it real that you climbed Everest? Or they think we are actors, only actors representing one. And say, no, we are real characters, But they really enjoy, they act, and they think it's real what we are explaining, and that's the important thing, because there is a lot of fake ideas that a lot of experts about one thing that they have never done that thing, They just know it theoretically, which is good, but it's not.
Well, in fact, Albert, I'm not surprised they ask you if you're for real, because in your case, you've done such spectacular things. To mention just a few, you've been the first one from this country to reach the South Pole unassisted, right, among other adventures, ultra marathons, and so on. How did you get into adventure? Because you studied business administration, and what's the most dangerous thing you've done?
Well, I went into adventure because I wanted to be a top sportman, but I was not able to be, but I wanted to live around that. And I say, maybe I will not win an Olympic Games or something like this, but maybe I can be the manager of my projects. I studied business administration, and I can put that at the service of my projects. I can lead my projects, and that's adventure. It's not sport.
Yes.
It's managing projects. And I am very persevering on managing my projects, I can do that not because I am a top sportman. I am quite good, but I am not a top. I can do that because I can manage them, and I can commit to the organization. And maybe the most difficult ones, I don't know, they are all difficult. Climbing Everest, crossing Antarctica, but maybe...
The one time maybe you felt more in danger?
Yes, in danger, well, danger is a relative concept because, for example, in Everest, you get in a lot of danger, a lot of risk, very concentrated, 3 days when you get to the summit, a lot of effort, a lot of danger. The rest is quite calm, we can say, calm, effort, but not. But in Antarctica, you have less risk and less effort, but spread in 2 months. Every day is risky, every day a lot of effort, every day uncomfortable is different, But the most risky thing I do in life, I think, is coming from Vic to Barcelona quite often, because I am not conscious of that risk at every second. When I ride the Dakar Rally, for example, I am concentrated on that. I am a killer on the risk. I am a survival. I don't think about anything else. So I manage the danger. So I am managing the risk. But when I come from big, listening to radio, so I'm not conscious. So the risk is relative. The danger is objective, but the risk is relative.
Interesting. In your case, Salva, would you say that music helps you make lots of friends?
Oh, really? Yeah. Because, being a musician means a lot, means having the chance to play along with many different people. So right now I've been, for the last 3 months, I've been meeting new musicians. I've been collaborating in 2 different jazz projects with different musicians. Now
this is the latest project you have now, this jazz band?
Yeah, jazz bands, because jazz was always something that was in my mind. I never considered myself to be good enough to play jazz as a guitar player, but finally I decided to try it and to start working on that. And yeah, I'm able to play jazz, so it's not that difficult. And now I'm playing funk, I'm playing drums because I played several instruments, and now I'm playing funk in a funk band, which is amazing. And it's always finding new people, and today will be new friends coming to the studio, and it's it's a human experience, a very intense, very, very, very nice, very nice.
And you're also known as Salva Rock. You deliver speeches to companies. You're always accompanied by your guitar. How would you say rock music can help companies to develop and become better?
Yeah, for me, well, rock music is like kind of an umbrella brand, right? Because I can be talking about Lady Gaga or Ed Sheeran or Ariana Grande, or not only about the Rolling Stones and Queen, and so I can speak about many different musicians, many different styles. But yeah, definitely the world of music is a world of collaboration, is a world of creativity, a world of innovation, a world of teamwork, leadership, adaptation to change, reinvention, fans conversion. So there are many different topics that could be learned from musicians, the way they do, as an inspiration for the way we could do in the world of business. That's right. That's what I call music thinking for business people, right? I bring them the music thinking, and in my talks, they are the business people, right?
Tell me, what's the quality you value most in a friendship? And maybe you can share with us an anecdote from the time you spent together as friends.
Well, there are different types of friendship. It's not the same of a friend that you born together and you went to school in your early ages.
This is not your case.
It's not the case. In our friendship, what I really evaluate most is that we are very curious, and we share a lot of concepts, when we teach each other a lot of things, and we show different paradigms in the mindset, in life. And I really it's a kind of friendship that is very intense, You don't only entertain yourself. You have a connection, an intellectual connection that I really get fun, and I really enjoy. So that's for me one of my main points with.
Actually, you said, one of you said you're both learnaholics.
Yeah.
Yes,
no?
Absolutely. Yes, we like always thinking new ways of understanding life, and learning is the way,
I like to highlight the fact that we didn't become friends when we were kids, and that's very interesting. The fact that you can still make friends all your lifetime. I was 40, I think, when I met him for the first time. And when you make new friends at that age, that means that you are perceiving that person from all your past experience. So it's not a friend that came along and you didn't select him. It's someone that you feel something special and you recognize something good in him. So it's very intense, the fact that, and very interesting, the fact that you feel something. Your skin is telling you, this one is a good man. It's the same with Joan, the third one in
Yes.
Spectacular. No? Learn a lot, and probably I'm learning a lot from Joan, because Joan is like a library.
He's the intellectual of the
world. He knows everything about everything. So it's always, you can share a coffee with Joan, and when you came home, you go back home, you've learned a lot of things that you can share with others.
From him, for example, he learns from me a lot of effort, passion, and risk taking, and I learned from him sex, drugs, and rock and roll. It's great. It's great.
Okay, that's a great declaration of friendship, and I think you're both very lucky. In a moment, we will continue our interview with Alberto and Salva, and we will explore the friendships of celebrities that have gone terribly wrong with our collaborator Malcolm Otero. But before that, how many kinds of friendship do you think there are? Helen Armstrong from International House Barcelona will tell us all about it.
Hi there. Today we're going to talk about different types of friendships. Let's start with acquaintances. This is when you're not necessarily a friend of someone, but you say hi to them maybe in the street or in your flat, your neighbors. Now, I met my best friend at school, so we were classmates to start with. Now, a best friend is someone that you tell all your secrets to, you see all the time, maybe your closest friend. And I met my boyfriend at work. Now, your boyfriend or girlfriend is a romantic relationship. So with sex, love, you go on dates, this could lead into marriage. Now, so my boyfriend was a colleague, which means we worked together. Now, it's quite hard to date a colleague because you see each other all the time. So it could potentially end up as we're enemies, which means you hate each other. So fingers crossed that doesn't happen. Thanks. Bye.
The largest concentration of Bar Nouveau in Barcelona? Sant Pau, of course. Today we discover this jewel of architecture with Burj Tuncay from Turkey.
Our interview with Albert Bosch and Salva López goes on talking about work, life and friendship. And now let's welcome our collaborator Malcolm Otero.
Hello.
Welcome, Malcolm. So we've been talking about friendship. Anything we missed?
Yeah, first of all, I gotta say that I'm a little bit worried about Salva. I would be very worried if my skin talks to me. I would be to the doctor. But let's talk about friendship. Friendship normally leads up to beautiful words, inspiring words, and for me that's very disgusting. You know, I'm on a diet with limited carbohydrates now, so no sugar for me. So my mission today is to give you the bitter touch. And because you have arguments to each other, right? So let's see, because I have the idea that enmity can be a creative engine too, that it could be a force to creativity.
Are you sure about that, Malcolm?
Well, I'm not sure. I have some examples. Let me give you some of them.
Okay, let's see.
For instance, we have Gabriel García Márquez and Màrius Vargas Llosa. They were very close friends. They live here in Barcelona, and they broke up. They broke up, and in fact, everything ended up with García Márquez with a black eye. Everything was a misunderstanding, but they didn't talk to each other for 40 years. They are not going to talk to each other because Gabo is dead. And, you know, since the moment they split up, they stopped influencing each other, and they got different paths. And in some way, it was very, very good for the books, and they both won the Nobel Prize in Literature. So what do you think about this power of the power of hatred?
Yeah, I totally agree, because sometimes you get defined by others. So sometimes you can be influenced by your friends, but you are definitely more defined by your enemies sometimes. So because you don't want to be like them, so you search for another path, and then you find new ways and new worlds. So,
Have you ever had a fight or an argument?
We have been near too, you know, but I have a puree on my hand always when we get in tension, you know, so he stops. No, he stops. We have a fight on the stage sometimes because we do the show like that because we are competing in order to win a special job, you know, and we use the tension because the people, the public, understands that tension. That's true. But I agree with that. But I think the tension is good for creativeness, of course, but not for doing projects together, you know. For creativity is good because people who does important things, they are ambitious and they connect with their egos, you know, and that's good for creativity sometimes. But in our case, I think for doing a project together, we have to be generous, we have to trust one each other, we have to be humble sometimes because sometimes he has a very important character on the stage, you know. I have to be on the second part, sometimes I have to be the main character. So I think of course, creativeness can come from a lot of things, but from generosity and from good friendship, there is also a good creativity.
So you only have fake fights.
Sorry?
exactly. Fake fights. Only fake fights. And only on the stage.
Yeah.
Inside you're
And only on stage.
You're quite disgusting. You love each other.
Yeah.
You're lecturers, speakers, everything's. You're successful. I'm
Always
starting
very
to feel sick. Let me say. But
We've got more examples
yeah,
of
because
famous
Salva,
friends.
it's very focused on rock stars and music. He also plays in a band and everything. It's so disgusting. But I found, if we think in the most popular band of all times, perhaps is the Beatles. And John Lennon, I'm going to be Yoko Ono today, but John Lennon and Paul McCartney, they broke up so ugly that they wrote songs against each other. John Lennon wrote "How Do You Sleep" with loving words like "the only thing you done was yesterday." And for instance, Paul McCartney wrote the song "Too Many People," and he says, "You took your lucky break and broke it in two." I'm not sure that rock stars are good role models, excepting for rehab business.
Mm-hmm. From my experience, I have fights with some musicians in the past because of creative differences, but you know, those famous musicians they find themselves in the middle of a hurricane, which is the music industry that brings you towards places that you don't want to go, and it tries to explode you, doing as many shows as you can because they want to take as much money from you as they can. So that generates a lot of tension. And in the case of the Beatles, all they wanted was to do good music, but their individual sense of good music was separating in time. It was different with the Rolling Stones. The Rolling Stones, you know perfectly that they were Keith Richards and Mick Jagger. They were like 30 years without speaking to each other, but making shows, making new records. But their goal wasn't doing good music. Their goal was making money, and that united them forever.
Forgive my insistence in trying to break your friendship, but
okay, go on.
Have you ever thought about splitting up and starting opposing projects? I mean, look, Elton John and Madonna. I mean, they hate each other and they're both on top.
Well,
that's a good question.
Maybe we have our individual projects. That's true. I agree with you on that maybe our friendship has this tricky part, you know, that we have choose the good part of friendship, you know, because for example, our project together is not our main or only professional project in life. So we don't have risk on that. So if it works good on money, it's perfect. If it's not, we don't have a big problem, you know. So if you take only the sweet part, it's easier, the friendship. I agree with you on that. When it's like in the teams, in adventure, you can see if you do a very easy adventure or a very easy sport, you always have good friendship with the team, you know. But when you do ambitious projects with critical moments, with difficulties, with risk, the friendships are really on challenge then. And a real friendship is demonstrated on the difficult moments, not on the good ones. So we have experience on that, and we prefer using this good part, you know, good part. But I agree on that. When there are big tensions and problems, it's good for creativity sometimes, for competitiveness, but it's bad for friendship. So we must be aware on that. That's true.
But you know that, I mean, doing business together is quite risky. If you think about Simon and Garfunkel, for instance, now when I was a kid, I thought that Simon was the name and Garfunkel the family name. I thought it was one person. But in 1968, they were both in a film, in the Catch-22 film, and Garfunkel was erased, deleted from the script, and they broke up, and they dedicated. Garfunkel is so angry even today that I have some beautiful words dedicated to Simon. What's going on with you, idiot? That's one. How could you let it go, jerk? Moving words. Everyone is at risk of breaking a friendship. Don't you think so?
It's always risky, but you know, in our case, I think the key is the balance. That this is just part of our time, but you know, this is like kind of a garden, and it's not the field.
Well, Malcolm, really. You've been talking about friends and not friends today. What about yourself? Where do you stand in terms of friendship and enemies?
I don't think I have enemies, but I'm sure I have.
You don't know them?
No,
or you prefer
not
not to think about them?
But I normally have very good friends. I have a lot of friends. I'm quite a social person. But, I mean, the real friends are like 4 or 5, like everyone. and I try to keep them.
Maybe the key of your friendship, like you said before, is the fact that you've got different things going on. And what are you going to do next? I mean, this year I know you've got some important projects in the pipeline. Albert, you're going away again?
Yeah.
Where are you going, and what are you going to do?
Well, in my adventure side, you know, every year I try to do big adventures or intense adventures. I am going to the Arctic to cross the biggest frozen lake in Europe, in Onega Lake in the Arctic, European Arctic. Then I descend in kayak called the River Ebro. Always projects connected to environment, water, climate change, and also I'll do a ultra marathon in Catalonia, 700 kilometers in 7 days, 2 days biking, 3 days running. Always collecting trash, you know. Always adventure connected to sustainability. That's my goal and my purpose, which is not the same. You know?
Mm-hmm. Impressive. Yeah. And yourself, Salva?
Yeah, in my case, the big project of this year for me is that I'm writing a book about disruptive education, because I'm a teacher and I have a lot to say. And
all right, disruptive education, yeah. Which is?
This is like rethinking the way people get educated, not only kids or young people at the university, but every one of us. I mean, for me, living is learning. I'm a learnaholic as well. So people can learn all and should learn everything every day. It's not just about learning at school or at the university. It's learning every day. I mean, today we have the internet. You can learn almost everything on the internet. I'm learning how to paint.
You're learning how to paint, exactly. Paint. This is the last thing, no?
This is
your latest hobby.
Exactly, because I love learning things, but I'm learning how to cook things.
Well, we've certainly learned a lot of things today. Thank you both for coming, and good luck with all your projects. And thank you, Malcolm, for enlightening us.
I'm sure they have a dark side.
Sure.
Yeah, probably I'm a psycho.
It depends when you put the friendship in challenge with, always. Sometimes I'm asked, why don't you do adventure with your best friend? It will be safer. No, maybe my best friend, one of those 4 friends I have all day, I go with him to Arctic and we fight them. You know, that's the environment, the circumstances are always a conditionant for our friendship. Mm-hmm. So I agree with Malcolm a little bit.
Well, thank you, Salva and Albert. We'll continue this interview in a minute. And Malcolm, thank you for enlightening us with the benefits of hostility, but I think we'll stick to friendship. Did you know that the city of Barcelona hosts the largest Art Nouveau site in the world? Declared UNESCO World Heritage, the Sant Pau Art Nouveau site is now, after an intense renovation, home to leading international institutions. Burcu Tuncay, a Turkish citizen who works there for a United Nations agency, will show us this shining gem in our Home from Home section.
My name is Burcu Tuncay. This is Sant Pau, Recinto Modernista. I came to Barcelona to work in this beautiful place, a very lucky one, at the Center for Sustainable Consumption Production. It belongs to the network of organizations here at Sant Pau, working on environmental and social issues. The reason that I came here is that we started working with social and environmental entrepreneurs from the whole of Mediterranean, and I'm from Turkey. So it has been really great to bring all those entrepreneurs from different sides, including Turkey, together here at Sant Pau in order for them to exchange their ideas, in order to work on their business concepts. We thought like it's really the perfect place for us because we work on circular economy, and this place is an excellent example of circular economy. It was recreated using the resources, old resources, and it was created into something much more valuable for the people moving in. Here, Montana worked with many artists in order to create the space. So I think this was an interesting future of Art Nouveau as well. And it's an excellent element of innovation. So you cannot just approach from one end, but you need to work maybe multidisciplinary. When you come into the garden it's impressive because you come into a new world. It's the world of the future in a way that we should have more of these spaces in our cities. And there are like orange trees, there's lavendel, there are these beautiful pavilions with lots of nice ornaments, and this just gives you, as I come in the morning, the positive energy, and I think Mutana thought that it would also lighten up the lives of the people who were being treated here. You can go around and have nice talks, or you can meet up in the pavilions with your colleagues for some creative ideas. So also the atmosphere, thanks to Mutane, helps us to come up with these ideas. São Paulo has a lot of faces. One of the faces that São Paulo has is being a network or kind of a hub of international organizations working on innovative issues or issues of the future, I would like to say. So in a way we get the problems or the challenges of the old economy and try to find the solutions for the new economy. So it's still being a creative or recreational site, and I like that a lot.
Welcome back to the Weekly Mag. We are talking with two great friends, the adventurer Albert Bosch and the keynote speaker and musician Salva López. And Malcolm Otero has just advised us about bitter friendships. Check it out on our website in case you missed it. And time to put an end to the interview with Mark Roderick.
Put an end to the interview. Okay, fair enough.
So you're here to introduce us to the mystery question.
Yes, I am. You're an adventurous man, I believe. You've crossed deserts and jungles, etc. Okay, so we have a couple of questions here. It might not be as intense, but we'll give it a go. And you're a rock star, no? Salva Rock, I believe?
Yeah.
Yeah, so here we have some questions. That can be a little bit tricky. I'll give you one if you want.
How does it work, Mark?
Basically, here, can you catch?
Yeah.
There we go. All right, and I'm going to give you a blue one as well. All right?
Mine?
Malcolm, sorry, Malcolm.
Of course.
I'll give you a red one today, Malcolm. I think last time. So, open it up.
I don't like risks.
You don't like risk. Oh, well. So, open it up.
It's
have
one
a
at
read.
a time, right?
Sorry?
One at a time.
One at a time, exactly. We'll start with Mr. Bosch.
The adventurer first.
The
always,
adventurer first. Delve in, son. So read it. You can read it out loud, and then if you need a second to think about it, we'll give it to you.
What's your infallible flirting gimmick? What is gimmick?
Gimmick.
What is gimmick?
Gimmick. Trick.
Trick.
Something like a trick.
For flirting.
You're exactly. So I'm an adventurer from a faraway land. You know, come and join me on an adventure. I don't know what kind of gimmicks you use to get to to connect, or maybe you say things like that. I don't know. You fire away.
Well, of course, my infallible is not inviting a woman to attend at minus 40 degrees. That she would never come, But
because you couldn't heat her up.
But I always can go to a bar. I did before when I was not with a life partner.
Okay, fair enough.
And I can go there and I say, I am an adventurer. Do you like adventures? And it's easy to understand. Do you like adventures?
Fair enough.
This is how you met your partner?
No. That's just a joke. That's just a joke.
That was the best line you could come up with, no?
So I don't have infallible. I forgot that many years ago.
Stick to going to the jungles, I think. I think you'll be sticking to going to the jungles.
That's why my wife allows me to go all over the world. She leaves me free, but if I go to jungles, high mountains, polar areas, I cannot go to Rio de Janeiro, for example. I don't know why.
Of course. You've got no game, Albert. You've got no game.
No choice.
It's okay. It's all right. All right, Salva, rock.
I was thinking about a quiz question, actually.
No, but it doesn't work like that. You have to read yours.
I have an answer for that question, but...
It's okay, we'll ask if you want to give it afterwards.
My question is, which things you have done to be cooler? Did they work? Well, in my case, I wanted to be a better speaker, so I forced myself to be a storyteller for kids. It was the tougher thing I ever done in my life, because kids are the tougher audience, you can imagine. I mean,
They
if
certainly are.
Yeah, if they don't like you, in a second they stand up and say, "I don't like it. Let's go home," and you are completely destroyed.
I work
very
in a
challenging.
school, and I can invite you someday to come and tell stories, and I'll put that to a test.
Exactly.
See really how good
Test
you are
me,
with 4-year-olds.
please, test me. Yeah. And now, can I tell you?
Yeah,
the
sure.
answer to
Yeah,
that
fire
question?
away, fire away.
Oh, you like that?
Yeah.
Sex, drugs, and rock and roll. You see?
Yeah, well, my better gimmick
Yes.
is, hey baby, I'm a guitar player. You will be amazed at what things can I do with my hands.
I think you definitely have more game than Albert. Sorry, Albert, you're happily married. All right. So what's your question?
My question was, what as seen on TV product do you secretly want to buy? Let me tell you, I don't have a television set. I've had it for the last 20 years, so I need television to see what's on television first. So I don't
You're
have.
on television.
I'm on
You're on
television
television right now. You
but
can't watch yourself.
no, I never watch myself.
Okay, sorry. Go on. Okay.
Well, he can watch himself on the internet. He doesn't
That's
need
true.
a TV.
That's
for that.
true. That's true.
No, I have a computer, but I don't have television. So I have not this passion of buying things you see on television.
So are you pleased with the
Yes.
answers? Are you satisfied, Mark?
I'm satisfied. I believe that he's got the most game of the three of them for sure. Salva, you're going to be swarmed with women. Absolutely, with those fingers.
But how do you know it's women what he likes?
That's true. I don't know. That's absolutely true. Well, you're going to be swarmed. It's okay.
Okay, well, Albert and Salva, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
You're
And
welcome.
good luck with everything. Malcolm, thank you for your stories about bitter friendships. And I'll see you soon with
Absolutely.
Matthew.
Yep.
Okay. Well, it is almost time for our Guess What quiz, but before, a language tip. If two people are set to get on like a house on fire, don't look for smoke or firefighters because there's no emergency. Team War will tell you what it means along with a group of useful English idioms. Check it out.
Hi again. So today we're going to look at some expressions related to friendship. We're going to start with an expression which is to hit it off. This means that the first time you meet someone, you really get on with them really well. You have a great relationship immediately. Maybe you discover you have lots of things in common, and you find that person really easy to talk to. You can say, we really hit it off. And you can also say that we got on like a house on fire. Bit of a strange expression, I know, but it means to have a really good relationship with someone. Friends are really important, especially when we're going through hard times in our lives. It's really important to have a shoulder to cry on. Someone who's going to listen to you when you're feeling sad, when you're feeling down, and you can cry on their shoulder. Sometimes when we go through bad times, we realize who our real friends are, because there's some friends can be fair weather friends. This means that they're only there for the good times, and when you need them, they disappear. Obviously, in life, sometimes friendships end. People go their separate ways. Maybe you were great friends at school, but then later on in life you drift apart. Maybe you live in different countries, and you go your separate ways. This can be sad, but it's part of life. Sometimes friends fall out. We have arguments, we have fights, and it's important to sit down sometimes and clear the air. This means to have a chat with them, try and find a solution to your problems, and maybe end the argument or the fight. Another similar expression to this is to bury the hatchet. This one means to stop fighting, to make a decision that the argument's over, or we'll be friends again. We're going to bury the hatchet. We often talk about friends or couples in relationships being well matched. This means that two people are a good fit, and they make a good couple, or they make two good friends. They can be well matched. And the last expression we've got today is to go through thick and thin together. So this means you and a friend have gone through good times and bad times together. You've gone through thick and thin. I know that's true for me and my best friend. So those are our expressions for friends and friendship. Go and try them out with your friends today.
Do you want to know how one of the best piano duos sounds? Stay for our musical guest today, Lama and Sofia Cabruja.
Now at the Weekly Mag, it's time for our quiz show brought to us by our quizmaster, Sergi Cervera. Welcome, Sergi. How are you?
Good. Thanks for having me, Marcela.
Well, excellent. Shall we start?
Yeah, absolutely.
Over to you.
All right, then welcome back to Guess What? The quiz show where our two favorite contestants, Màrius Serra and Patricia Escalona, pit their wits against each other. So just to remember, let's remember that Màrius lost 2-4 last week.
Winning is overrated.
Yeah, right. You only say that because you lost.
All right, so will he get his revenge today? We will see. Today's show is dedicated to friendship. So we want to pay tribute to those friendships and partnerships. So I hope you remember a few of them. All right?
We'll see.
I hope so.
Good. All right, so let's go. Our first challenge today will be guessing famous friendships in fiction. So Marcela is going to read some clues one by one, and you have to ring your bells to answer. Of course, important. In order to get your point, you might say both of names. So if your answer is wrong or incomplete, the chance goes to your opponent. All right, ready?
Let's go.
Okay, let's start then.
Okay, let's start. Well, they live in a village. They are very different in height. They are both humans, although one of them has a dog.
Màrius?
Let's start Asterix and Obelix.
That's correct. Nice. There you go. He sounds good today.
Yeah.
Okay, you won your revenge and maybe you will have
because
it.
of the duck, the little duck.
All right, so correct. Asterix and his sidekick Obelix, the famous friends created by Uderzo and Goscinny, and nowadays written by Jean-Yves Ferry and illustrated by Didier Conrad. So you guys ready for the second part of the first round?
Okay.
All right.
I'm sure they are. Okay,
right.
so we are talking about two fictional characters. They are the main characters of an American film. They live in Arkansas. These two characters are women.
There you go. This is your day.
Thelma and Louise?
There you go. Correct. Patricia, looks like today he's hungry. He's hungry. Correct.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thelma and Louise, the 1991 road movie directed by Ridley Scott. It won an Oscar for the best original screenplay written by Carly Curry. And the film is also known for featuring Brad Pitt on the very first time in his first major role. Did you know that?
No.
Nope.
No, absolutely.
Okay, so 2 points for Màrius. And just to remind you, 0 for you.
I'm fine. I'm too busy having my own friends in real life to care about the fictional ones anyway, so great.
But Patricia, tell us about your favorite fictional characters.
My favorite like Friends. I like the way Jane Austen portrays the sister who happen to be also friends in Pride and Prejudice. They're great. The relationship that Mary and Kate, I think it's the name, Catherine, they have together. They're sweet, and it's one of the first instances of real, true female friendship in literature.
I don't know. I love, for instance, one I have reread very recently, Klaus and Lucas, which are twin brothers. In a novel by Agatha Christophe, and it's really, really magical. They are children, Klaus and Lucas, and their letters are the same. The 5 letters of Klaus are the same in other order.
That's where everything started, Màrius?
I love it.
A palindrome, isn't that it?
Anagram.
Anagram.
We need to check that out.
Because
and a
it's
palindrome
not
is when you read
symmetry.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry.
So how do you feel, guys? You ready for our second challenge?
He is.
Second round.
Second round, correct. He is.
I'm not.
We will see about you. So now, for our second round, we will give you the name of a fictional character, and you have to say the name of the other character, the partner of, his or her partner. And attention, we are talking about friendships, friends and partners, but not in a romantic way. No couples or no sex involved.
No sex involved.
As far as we know. And as always, you have to ring your bells to answer, okay? And if you miss, your opponent takes over.
Okay.
Ready?
Okay.
Good.
Okay.
All right, so Robin.
Batman.
Batman, that's correct. And I'm not
Bruce Wayne.
And I'm not gonna mention anything about romantic relationship or anything I've read or seen in internet.
You never know.
It could be. Nobody knows for sure.
All right, so John Watson. Màrius,
Sherlock Holmes.
there you go.
Hey,
Point for you.
what? No, wait, no.
So just to remind,
This is not happening.
3 for Màrius, 1 for you.
We ran at
I'm
the
the
same
quiz
time.
master.
Oh my God.
I'm the quiz master. That's how it goes. But
Zen.
get ready, because here I go. Elsa from Frozen. 3, 2, 1. Màrius.
No.
3,
Stitch.
2, 1.
No.
Time's
Emma.
up, you know?
Emma?
No,
No.
Anna.
Anna.
Anna. Yee, that was close. Milou.
Stitch was.
Ha! Tintin.
Correct. Correct. Let's move forward. R2D2.
Oh my God.
3, 2, 1.
C3PO.
That's correct. That's correct. Point for Patricia. Peter Pan.
The bell. Well, Cinderella. No?
Tinkerbell. But
The
it's
bell.
not
I
like
said the bell.
Tinkerbell.
Said the bell.
The bell. He said
The bell, I said. Yeah.
No.
It's
Wait,
not the bell.
Wait, you said
Wait.
Cinderella.
No. I said
okay,
the bell
okay,
first.
Okay, all right.
We
this
need a new
point
one.
goes to no one.
Well, you need a new
But
one.
the exact name was?
Tinkerbell.
Tinkerbell.
Yeah.
You were correct. You were correct. You were going
I
there.
was translating.
Yeah, but
in my mind.
she's right. I mean, you should have said the right word. And last one, fish.
And chips.
Correct. Point for Màrius. That is correct. All right. So
Fish and chips? Are you serious?
absolutely,
No sex
absolutely.
involved.
No sex involved, as
They
far as we
told
know.
us.
Those are not
were
like,
told.
Just
they're not
eating
physical
involved.
beings. They cannot talk. They cannot be. Anyway.
But
They are
have a
physical,
close
they are
relationship.
physical.
It looks like we have a winner today.
It's over?
Màrius,
Well, so
4
far.
points. Patricia, 3 points. Ha.
Only because you want it.
But things are going to get more complicated.
Correct, exactly. And let's complicate things a tiny bit. So now we will ask you about groups of friends. And we say one name, and you have to complete the group. And as always, use your bells.
Okay, let's go. So, which are the names of Carrie Bradshaw's 3 friends?
Oh.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time's up.
I know them, but
So,
I don't.
we're talking about Miranda, Samantha,
Charlotte.
and Charlotte.
Oh, point to
but
no
if
one.
you need to know all of them.
Of course.
Can we just get close? I had to, but
She's Riva.
For a whole
You're
point.
fighting a little bit today.
I'm always fighting.
Good.
You're
good.
new to this. You don't know me yet.
Yeah,
but
okay,
you will.
that's good. That's good. That's good. All
Well,
right.
the following one, I think it's an easier one. So, who are D'Artagnan's 3 friends?
5,
D'Artagnan's 3
4.
friends.
No,
Patricia.
Athos, Porthos, and Aramis.
Correct. Point to Patricia.
I couldn't understand that.
I was about to say Douglas. You remember
I
that,
see.
that TV series, the cartoon TV series?
4.
Well, but that was in
I was about to say Douglas
like
instead of
ducks, like
Porthos. I was like,
ducks,
no.
Okay,
All right.
Okay.
the last one.
Yeah,
no?
exactly. Let's go.
So, the 5 names of the friends of Monica Geller from Friends.
Ross, Chandler, Phoebe,
5.
I'll have voodoo. I don't know any one of them.
Chandler,
Voodoo.
Phoebe.
3. You're doing well.
Shut up.
2.
Rachel.
Yes, and there is just one left.
Yeah, and
Joey. Right, correct. Point to Patricia.
okay, I'll forgive
never
you
saw.
All right, we still have a match here.
Oh yeah, nice.
So,
5
There's the last
Patricia, 4 Màrius. Good. And there is just one round left to finish our game of today. So we have come to the hellish complicated section, the multiple choice section.
Oh God.
All right, you know, no bells this time, only you and 3 options. Correct? Here it goes. Which of those 3 writers was a friend of Charles Dickens? A. Robert Louis Stevenson, B. Wilkie Collins, and C. Joachim Munson.
I would say B.
A.
I would
B
say
for
B.
you and B for you.
Wilkie Collins.
We're in troubles, because that's correct.
Yeah, we
so
know.
both of you are correct. Point for you both. All right, so let's move forward. What are the names of Roser Capdevila's famous triplets? A. Anna, Teresa, and Marta. B. Teresa, Marta, and Lluïsa. And C. Anna, Teresa, and Elena.
I would say C.
C. Patricia?
I have no idea, so B, maybe?
That means that Màrius is right. C is correct. Anna, Teresa, and Elena.
I had an advantage here because I happen to know them in real life, not just drawn, but because they are from Horta, my neighborhood in Barcelona.
And we've reached a fair point right now because we are even. We
have a draw.
We have a draw, correct?
That's great, I told you, winning is overrated.
Well, congratulations both to Màrius and Patricia today. And we end here the Guess What About Famous Friendships. And now we have come to the moment for the lovers of crossword puzzles. Time for the weekly enigma by Màrius Serra. But first we need the solution to this week's puzzle. So your turn, Màrius.
Yeah, last week it was the horseman, or this horseman, always avoids the sun. The answer, that's night. A night, like with a K before
it sounds
night.
exactly the same,
like
it spells differently.
Yeah, it's the Knights of the Round Table, for instance, but it's sort of homophone. They sound the same.
I'm excited to know what's going to happen.
And
The new one.
What about the next riddle?
The next riddle would be longer, the 8 letters.
Oh.
So we are making it not maybe more complicated. Let's see.
Fancy.
That would be the most protective British newspaper. 8 letters. The most protective British newspaper. 8 letters.
That means that we have to work in our memory to know the list of the British newspapers.
I know it.
Nice.
Can I
good.
ring my
Ding
bell?
dong,
Can I ring my bell?
You're going to have to wait 1 week.
Well, we began with a 3-letter word and then a 6-letter word, and today a word with 8 letters. The most protective British newspaper. This is getting more and more difficult, Màrius.
Longer.
Well, let's take a short break now. We'll be right back with one of Europe's most renowned piano duos who happen to be from Girona. And stay tuned for our Here and There section. We'll talk about friendship with Mark Broderick and Matthew Tree, who's been to Premià de Mar to look for friends, enemies, and other relationships. Back in a moment. Thank you, Patricia. Thank you, Màrius.
Thank you.
And thank you, guest master.
Thank you so much, Marcela.
Until next week. Welcome back to the Weekly Mag. In today's e-speaker section, we are visiting Wales, a place, one of the nations of the United Kingdom, and a place with a distinct cultural identity, something the Welsh are really proud of. And we are doing it today with Claire Fabra Davis. Enjoy.
Hi, my name's Claire and I'm from Wales and I now live in Sitges. I've been living in Sitges for about 16 years and I've got a creative agency and I'm also a founding member of a really beautiful cultural association between Wales and Catalonia. Wales is a really beautiful country. It's part of the British Isles and it's got about 3 million inhabitants. And it's a country which some people call the land of song, and it's also a country with a rich cultural heritage, with beautiful green rolling hills and many, many castles. Actually, it's in the Guinness Book of Records for the most amount of castles per square mile. You should really visit it, it's beautiful. cool things I really recommend everyone who goes to Wales is to do this thing called the coastal path. And what's beautiful about Wales is it's really the cultural diversity, but there's a pathway that goes almost all around the peninsula of Wales, and you can walk along and you can visit castles, you can visit secret coves, you can visit amazing seaside inns, and really you can get a real taste for the cultural diversity, and it runs all the way along the coast of Wales. That's really worth it, and I really recommend some stop-offs to try some amazing food and really just get talking to the locals, because they've got an amazing sense of humour, and you can really try the different gastronomy from all the different little places that you visit. So that's what I'd recommend with Wales. Actually, I'm from this place called Carmarthen, and in Welsh, Carmarthen is Caer Myrddin, which means the road of Merlin. And I'm from the town where Merlin, the famous wizard, was born. You may have heard of Merlin because he was the wizard of King Arthur, and actually all the Tolkien books are all based around Merlin, the magician of all time. One of the things about Welsh cuisine is quite simple, but I think what makes Welsh food so special is the landscape. It's a bit of a crazy concept, but basically because it rains a lot and because it's so green, it means that the grass is amazing. So one of the lovely things to try is Welsh lamb. It's famous throughout the world because it's really tender, because they feed off such green grass. And then you must try Welsh lamb with Pembrokeshire potatoes. Again, they're very sweet potatoes because of the soil, and then put some really beautiful Welsh butter on them, which is a little bit salty. So anything, all the dairy products are really rich in Wales. Try the Welsh cheese, and then also if you're going for one of those lovely country walks, pop into a pub and try a dish of cawl. Cawl is our escudellas. It's a sort of leek stew. You'll absolutely love it. Try it. Yeah, so one of the really special things about Wales is the language. Obviously, it's a Celtic language, and it's one of the oldest languages in the world, and it's got absolutely nothing at all to do with English. It's got a totally different root, and it's a very poetic, magical language. It makes Welsh people be very expressive and very sing-songy. So Welsh children, when they go to school, we get taught to how to be more expressive with our faces. And one of the lovely things to visit is this thing called an Eisteddfod, and they're festivals of song and music, and children dance and they recite poetry, and they sing, and they have the chairing of the bards, which are these sort of Welsh druids. It's really spectacular to see. You should really try it. And actually we're going to be doing something like a mini Eisteddfod ourselves here in Catalonia, so you should come to that.
That was a great way of beginning an interview. Today we have with us Carles Lama and Sofia Cabruja, a piano duo, possibly one of the most acclaimed piano duos in the world and surely in Europe. Carles and Sofia, thank you so much for coming to the program.
Thank you.
What is the piece you've just played?
It's a part of La Valse by Ravel, one of the most difficult pieces for piano for hands.
Impressive, really impressive. Well, what is the hardest thing about playing piano for hands? They say it's not just about coordinating for hands, but it's also a matter of coordinating two brains.
Yes, it's true. We understand that for people that for first time they are looking to two pianists playing together in the same piano, it's very impressive to see how we coordinate hands, jams, everything. But we have to admit that the most difficult thing is to feel the music together, to breathe at the same time, to conduct the music to the same point, and to have this poetical playing, yeah. And this is a thing that you cannot do only by practicing, if not by living together and, of course, listening music together, to having the same background.
Actually, on your website, we can read the motto, 4 hands, 1 feeling, which I think summarizes what you just said.
Yes, that's something that people told us since the beginning of our career. I mean, all the people said to us, oh, you feel like one person. So that's why we took this leitmotif, because it's kind of, we could say, magical, but because we are very different from each other in character, but when we play together, it's like one person.
That's possibly one of the best compliments you heard.
Yes,
no? About,
definitely.
Yes,
about
sure.
the two of you. And when you say, Sofia, that you are very different in personality and character, what do you mean?
Well, I'm kind of shy, and he's the opposite. And at the beginning, for instance, I used to play, when we played solo many years ago, I used to play a kind of composers, more sweet maybe, or more shy, just like me, and he used to play more extroverted composers. But when we got to play together, we got to have the same feeling and the same phrasing of the pieces. So
we could say that you complement each other very well, no? And the opposites attract.
Yes.
Yes, you are right.
Okay. Well, tell me about your beginnings. You recently celebrated 30 years playing together. How did you two become partners in the first place?
Well, first I think we became friends. Yeah. After we became good friends, after very good friends, and finally we were partners. Yeah. I think it was not easy because I was 14 when I met Sofia, and she was 19. Yeah. Now we have the same age, but at that time, no. And well, I was a kid, and she was a very nice young lady. Yeah. So she didn't look at me like a man. Yeah, just like a teenager. Yeah. However, I think that we connect immediately. Yeah, and we start to play together because a teacher in the conservatory, she invited us to do it, and we felt immediately very well, very comfortable, and so that was the way.
I see. Playing together means a lot of coordination, synchronizing. But what about your mood, no? Because you're human in the first place. So does your mood reflect the way you play?
Finally, musicians, we are actors. Yeah. So when we perform the character of the music. I think the music itself inspired you to change your mood into the mood of the music.
Okay. What is the most difficult thing, would you say, when it comes to playing for hands piano?
As he said before, the most difficult thing is to feel together, but we understand that for people is how you coordinate movements, because you have your movements limited. Because, of course, for instance, I cannot move too much my left arm or my left hand. So you have to negotiate how you play. What happens when you play for hands is that, first of all, you have to look at the score and to see where the challenges will be in terms of coordination or movements, because you will have your movements limited. So you have to take a look at the score and see where the problems can be. And when, first of all, you have to fix these problems, and then, of course, each of us has to practice
alone,
and then to put again together.
I see.
Okay, so
we
will perform the middle section of La Valse. Yeah, this is the climax part, and I think you can discover many things here. So,
Wow.
here, well, this is difficult.
Yes, especially for me.
Yeah, we will play slowly this special part, yeah? 2 bars, and you can see how we are moving and how we negotiated before, yeah?
Right.
We play here.
Mm-hmm.
As you can see, I have a big glissando, which is this. If I could play alone, it would be much easier, yeah? But she has to play this.
I have this. And if I am alone, I can play it like this without even moving. But since he's doing the glissando, I have to do like this in order for him to...
The glissando is when?
The glissando is when you do like this.
How often do you cross hands while playing?
Yes.
We never count.
Uncountable times.
As many times as we need, yeah? Very often,
yeah?
Because in the middle section, we have sometimes, it's not only to cross hands, but we have to play one up and the other down. So it's...
Okay, and how do you cope with the fact that you work together, you play together, you also live together and share almost all your time together? You also travel a lot. So do you find that difficult, easy? How do you cope with it?
Well, I think it's quite easy, but it's not very easy. So sometimes they ask us if we discuss, yeah?
If you have arguments.
Yeah, if we argue, yeah. Of course we do, yeah. Not very often, yeah, but sometimes, of course, we are a normal couple, yeah. But finally, we have this special relationship who is unifying us, yeah. So we solve all the times, till now.
Yes, so far. Let me ask about your concerts abroad. You've performed in countries such as Germany, Italy, Portugal or Sweden, but where would you say that you have clicked most with the audience?
I like very much this question. It's not about country, it's about people, yeah? When we play music, we play not to impress people, we play to move people, yeah? And normally people around the world, we discover they are moved by the same things. So when you are playing and you are playing love music, you are talking about death, yeah? Drama, they understand in all the world and they can be moved always. So I think that basically we feel very comfortable everywhere in the world.
Excellent. Well, Carlos and Sofia, which piece of music are you going to play for us next?
Well, it's one of the pieces of our latest CD, which is a very special project for us because it contains all the transcriptions of Brahms' Lieder for 4 hands, which is a music that we have in our heart because it's the one that we fell in love listening to this music, so it's very attached to us. And it's the famous lullaby by Johannes Brahms, but people maybe don't know that it's a song.
Okay.
So it was originally a song for voice and piano, and we have the transcription for piano for hands.
Okay, and the name of the song?
Guten Abend, gute Nacht.
Which is, I guess, good night or good evening, good night
Exactly.
in German. Well, it's certainly not time to say good night for us, but it's a good name anyway. It's a great way of saying goodbye. Thank you so much for coming and talking to us today.
Thank you.
Thank you, it was a pleasure.
Well, we're going to listen to the beautiful synchronized music from Carles and Sofia in a moment. But before, let's have a look at some phrasal verbs related to friendship with our teacher, Tim Guinea from International House Barcelona. Check them out.
Today we've been talking about friends and friendship, but sometimes it isn't always easy to make friends. And a friend of mine didn't know how to do it, so I gave him some advice. I told him every time he was at a party or some kind of social event that he needed to strike up a conversation. So if you strike up conversation, you start talking to somebody. And eventually it worked. He made some new friends. And he started spending time with these friends or hanging out with them. And after a while, he actually spent more and more time with these people, and he and I started to drift apart. So we found we had less in common, we started to see each other less, and then it was my birthday, and he never showed up, and that was it for me. So I decided to break off the friendship. So if you break a friendship off, that means you finish it, and it's usually something negative and a bad event has happened. So I thought that was the last I'd ever see of him. However, it turns out he fell for my sister, and they started a relationship. Well, it turns out my sister fell for him as well, and she fell head over heels. And she persuaded me to get back in touch with him. She said he was a great guy and that I was missing out. So I decided to send him a WhatsApp, and we met for coffee. After talking, we decided to patch things up. And if you patch things up, it means you fix something. And a patch is usually a piece of fabric that you sew onto another to repair it. So after talking, we were able to iron out our differences. So when you iron things out, that means you come to a very happy conclusion. And that's my story about friendship. I hope that you appreciate yours, and until next time, I'll see you.
best friends, worst friends, special friends. Today, Mark Broderick looks into the human relationships of people in Premià de Mar. Don't miss it!
We are back, the weekly mag, with our next section, Portraits, and the protagonist today is Adrianos Hojevinas, who was born in Greece but raised here in Catalonia. He's passionate about his job and the people he works with. However, as he says, fashion can be a tough business, and if you want to know why, we invite you to watch the following video.
My name is Adrianos Hojevinas. I am a model and a stylist and a creative director. Since I was a child, I've always used fashion as a way to express myself, to take those things that hurt me, because I didn't feel understood. In a white society, obviously, I was a minority, and I still am a minority here. I think that fashion allowed me to express myself, allowed me to sort of have fun. So yeah, I would say that about, when I was 4, I was already knowing the fabrics, the textures that I liked, the designers that I loved. I started as a young model and doing catalogs for small brands in Barcelona. And I remember I used to have so much fun. It used to be just a table full of candy and sweets, and the photographers would tell you, look at the camera, you're having fun, you're all having fun, laugh now, and everything, and we used to have so much fun. And plus I did it with friends. Then I retook it actually when I was in high school. Me and my friend, she said, you're good at 2 things, fashion, and you're good at speaking in a crowd and, being an actor. And if you put them together, actually, it is being a model, because you have a bit of acting and you have the fashion industry. My first years were actually very fun, but the more I started to work as a model, the more I started to have more demand when I saw the stylists combining different clothes, different colors, which I thought, that is good, but you could do better with that other color. Why don't we try that? And they would all say to me, you should be a stylist. So that's when I started. Now I don't work as a model as much, but I do love styling, because it's not about me, it's about the other person. And it's about creating that moment and that connection with that other person. As a stylist, I do believe that you have to make that connection. And you have to know that that person should be able to wear that or this. And that is a problem, because nowadays, people just want to sell the brand and they want to make the money. And money comes when you have a work ethic, when you have there's an art to it, and you have to understand the art that there is to it. Fashion can be tough, I'm not gonna lie. I love it, but it can be tough, and having to fit in a white society, it just bothered me so much. I am not someone that wants to be the voice of people or the voice of what's going on as a black person, but I'm gonna keep on fighting, and if that gets someone else that comes after me in a place that I have had to fight all my life, then I'm happy enough.
Talking about friendship during all the show, but people sometimes understand friendship differently, and maybe friends are not equally easy to make everywhere. We'll explore this subject with our English and Irish friends, Matthew Tree, welcome, and Mark Roderick.
Hi.
Hello. Well, friendship is the topic today. So what does friendship mean to you? And do you think that all of us, people living abroad, maybe value it more?
There's
So this is what you're supposed to say.
A long pause.
Oh, this is a good question.
Yeah, that's a great question, Marcella. No, for me, a friend here or a friend in London, for example, is exactly the same thing, if you like. It's someone to whom you can explain, you can talk about absolutely everything, and you can explain absolutely everything. And you know that you can say goodbye to that friend, and if you meet them in a week's time or in 2 years' time, you can just pick up from there, which is a bit of a cliche, but it's absolutely, that is the case. And I found when I was thinking about this, I was looking things up on the internet, it's interesting that the average amount of friends, in that sense, like real friends, most people have 2, just 2.
So me and Marcella, basically.
I had to think about that one a little bit. Yes, of course, Mark. Yeah. So
What about you?
that would be a friend for me.
Well, I have slightly different. Like I have not two grades of friends, but I would say I've lived abroad now for about 16, 17 years, a little bit less than Matthew has, and I would consider friends almost like family for me because, of course, I haven't lived here with my family, so they've filled the void of family needs when I needed them or that. But I do agree with you that I do have friends back in Ireland that it doesn't matter when I go back, whether it's 3 years later, 4 years later, whatever, it's like we don't even need to catch up. It's just like we sit down, have a coffee or whatever, and it's like we just pick up where we left off.
It's like you saw them yesterday.
It's like we saw them yesterday. So I agree with that one. But also the other fact of the other friends who have taken care of me over the years, who have been like my family, etc. So yeah, for me it's like 2 grades of that. Yeah.
Mark, in your case, well, you've traveled a lot around the world.
Yeah.
Where would you say you met the friendliest people?
Well, people always say that, like I was reading a thing, I think that Matthew might talk about later, like people from Thailand, people from Ireland, etc., known to be very, very friendly. But I'm going to actually break down the mold a little bit. The 2 friendliest countries that I visited, curiously enough, are Iran and China, which a lot of people would say, well, how is that possible? Well,
how is that possible?
Thank you, thank you. I will tell you now. Well, take Iran for example. Like Iran, when I was there, I spent a month there, and I found the people like overtly friendly in the sense of like they would take you into their house, they would give you food, they wouldn't let you pay for anything. They would just almost impose themselves upon you. Some people would find that a little bit like stressful, but I thought that was wonderful. And I still have friends who contact me on a weekly basis, friends who I've only met maybe once or twice when I was traveling there. And they were really, really nice, authentic, and very genuine.
Where did you find the friendliest people?
Well, actually, I looked this up on the internet as well. There's a travel website which gives you the 7 friendliest countries in that order, which is Thailand, Scotland, Ireland comes in at number 3, New Zealand, Iceland, Morocco, and Fiji, which is a military dictatorship. But anyway, you know, there it is. But for me personally, I would say Portugal is one of the countries where I found people were really friendly. And also Denmark. They're incredibly nice and friendly in Denmark.
Aren't they the happiest nation too? They're considered one of the happiest countries as well.
Yeah.
That might have something to do with it.
Yeah.
Well, let's see what Cathans
right.
think. And I think this is one of your questions.
It is indeed. Premià de Mar.
You went to Premià de Mar?
Yeah, because they have.
And you asked them?
They have a venue there about friendship. In fact, they have 2 or 3 things there based on friendship, which was quite unusual. So I figured,
What did you ask them?
These guys must be the friendliest people in Catalonia. So, well, let's watch it and find out. I asked them about friendship and friendliness, basically. Nothing too complicated.
Okay, let's watch it.
To talk about friendship, we've come here today to Premià de Mar. Here they have lots of places dedicated to friendship, including this centre right here. And to more modern places like this theatre, where you can have a little bit of leisure and a little bit of pleasure. who are the friendliest people in the world?
Latin, maybe, in general. Also, the people that I knew in Africa.
Latin American people.
Why?
I don't know. I think when you don't have too much, you wanna give a lot of from yourself.
Cuba, maybe. South America, I think so.
From my experience, Canadian people.
Maybe here in Spain, but more in the south. Catalan and Spanish people. I don't know.
Why?
Because we are very open. We like to be in contact with other people. We like to hang out, and so I think that we are the best ones to have as a friend.
I'm Catalan. I'm very friendly.
You have to say that.
I have, and I think that is true.
Can we be friends?
Yes, of course.
Can I have your Facebook after we finish?
Okay, no problem.
Awesome. See, they're good, friendly people.
Well, Mark, I see you don't miss any opportunity.
Never miss an opportunity to make more friends on my Facebook account.
What do you say, leisure and pleasure?
A little bit of leisure and a little bit of pleasure, of course. Yes.
That's a good one.
Yeah, it was fun. The people there were quite friendly as well, I must admit.
Okay, what else did you like? What would you highlight from Premià de Mar?
What would I highlight? That it was in the middle of the afternoon and it was difficult to find people, but we found them eventually. That was the highlight. No, I'm kidding. The highlight was that I found that all of the people said that they were very close to saying the Catalans and the Spanish and the South Americans were very friendly, which is something I don't have a lot of experience with as regards the South American side of things, but maybe you do, Matthew. I don't know.
I've never been to Latin American
neither have I. That's why I couldn't comment on it.
But the Latin American people I've met in Catalonia are very friendly. Catalan people themselves are very friendly. A little detail which I noticed right at the beginning when I was here is that when you go into a shop here, it's quite normal to say hola, hello, you know, and you do that in London and they just look at you suspiciously. Like you go into a shop and you say hello. They go, okay, what does this guy want? You know, what's he after? This kind of thing. So it's a completely different setup. And also people say goodbye, you know, here when they go out of a shop. So there's already, just with someone you don't know from Adam, maybe, there's some kind of rapport is established, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you say that the English and the Irish are different when it comes to friendship from Catalans?
I'll start. Well, you did point out that the Irish are number 3 in the world for being the friendliest. Okay, and I believe I know why. Half the country's drunk all the time. Of course they're going to be friendly. Of course, you see them on the street. Of course they're going to say, "Hey, how's it going?" Like, you know, I think that's. I'm kidding, huh?
Well, they fall all over you.
Yeah. Hey, how's it going, man? How are you? No, we're quite a friendly nation of people. I mean, we do like to talk a lot, as you've probably noticed.
No, we haven't actually.
We do like to tell a lot of stories. We're very social. We do like to have the crack, as they say, which is not referring to the drug, more
crack
to the
jokes.
fun. No, crack is an Irish word for fun. C-R-A-I-C.
Oh, okay.
It's a very particular Gaelic word
But
that we
there's
use a lot.
also an expression, no? To crack a joke.
To crack a joke.
That's an English
Exactly.
expression.
Exactly.
In Irish, in Ireland, you say it's a good crack is a lot of fun, no?
Exactly.
Something like
if
that.
you say that in Detroit, it means something else.
Yeah, exactly. yeah. Not so much fun, maybe.
What about Romania? It's the perception of Eastern Europe is that you guys are quite cold. I mean, I don't find you cold. I find you quite warm and friendly. But what would be the perception of
well,
people
Romania
from Eastern Europe in
wouldn't
Romania?
be like a stereotype for the Eastern Europe, no?
Okay.
Because as you know, it has a lot of influences from many places.
That's true, yeah.
But I would say, Romania is a very hospitable and welcoming country.
What about the English?
What about the English?
Yeah.
In the sense of
we were very friendly.
Being friendly. In fact, I was just going to ask Marcella, what do Romanians do when they meet each other for the first time?
Okay.
Good one.
Because,
Yeah, it's a good one. Well, we don't kiss. We don't do two kisses like here in Catalonia. We shake hands, basically. And we don't touch each other a lot. While we're talking to somebody, even if we are close friends, this touching thing is not like the norm, I would say.
Yeah, okay. the Irish too, we don't like to touch each other.
Oh, maybe when you say that we are colder, maybe, I don't know if you refer to that, but...
no, it's just a perception of
maybe it's a more Mediterranean thing?
I think Ireland and England are probably very similar. You do not kiss on the cheek, obviously. don't even mention the mouth when you meet someone for the first time.
You need about 10 pints of lager first for that to happen.
Yeah, and then who knows what might happen. But it's you shake hands, and then maybe the second, third, or fourth time, a peck on one cheek only.
Just one.
Just the one. And certainly, I mean, you know, do not touch people when you're talking to them in England. Just, you know, don't do that. You know.
What would happen? What do they think if you touch them? Like here, no? It's quite common here.
They would think,
What
and here
do
we
they
can
think?
use a useful sentence, in fact, they think that you are making a pass at you.
Right.
Which is, how could I put this? That you have an erotic interest in them, that you would like to go to bed with them. And I must admit,
I love how you phrase this, Matthew.
seriously, but, you know, to make a pass. And I remember sitting at the first sort of conversation I had with a group of Catalans, and we knew each other a little bit and everything. And both the men and women were sort of touching me here and everything. And I thought,
this is going to be a party.
Yeah. what are they after? You know, what do they want?
Yeah.
So,
what about your second video, Mark?
Second video, well, we're all talking about friendship all the time, so I think it's time we talk a little bit about enemies. You know, we all have a few of those as well, and they say keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. So we went to Premià, obviously, and asked the people about their enemies, people that they don't get on with.
Okay, nice one. Let's watch it.
Do you have an arch nemesis?
An ex-girlfriend.
What happened? Tell us why.
Nothing good. Yeah, everything bad. Too much shit to myself, to me.
Police, always. It has been the police.
How many times have you been arrested?
Arrested, maybe 2. Fines. I think that I have every one of them, all of them, all the possible that you can have while driving, not driving in the car, the motorbike, smoking, or shouting or peeing or everything. I think that I've got all of the...
I don't like many people, but they are not my enemy. I don't want to kill them.
Here's Biggie Smalls, one of the most famous rappers of all time, who his best mate was Tupac Shakur, also one of the most famous rappers of all time. Those guys ended up killing each other. What a friendship, huh? If you killed somebody and you had to get rid of the body, who would you get to help you?
You.
Very good, very good. We could do a Walter White like Breaking Bad.
My brother is cooker.
So you can chop up the body and cook it up.
And everybody had a shovel at home, and well, we can dig, and the sea is nearly here, so...
No one.
You do it yourself?
I do it myself, yeah.
No friends that you trust in this?
No, I don't want to put my friends in these problems, you know?
They say a good friend will help you move, but a best friend will help you move a dead body. Which one are you, Matthew and Marcella?
The look of confusion and disgust says it all, no?
Yes. I'm speechless. I don't know. What about you, Matthew?
I think I would lose my friend if I had to move a dead body for him.
Yeah.
I think that would be the end of a beautiful friendship. You know?
I stick to that.
But I thought it was an interesting... I think I found that expression somewhere, and I thought it was brilliant. I thought it was humorous as well at the same time. That's why I asked the people, you know? So you wouldn't have anybody that you would call up if you had an accident, Matthew? Had to get rid of a body in the middle of the night?
No.
No? Marcella? No? Okay, sorry.
For sure. Okay, so do you think Catalans are friendly in general?
Here we might have a little bit of a disagreement, myself and Matthew, I believe. I'm not sure. I'll tell you, my experience. Catalonia is a very friendly place, okay? I've been here for about 10 years now. And in general, the people are very friendly, but it does have a quirk as regards to the language, which I will explain now in a second, okay? When I first arrived, I spoke Spanish, okay? I have a degree in Spanish, and whatever, the first 2-3 years I spoke in Spanish. I lived in a small village. People accepted me. I had friends, etc. And at certain moments, like when we were out with the friends and all that, I mean, like, I did feel sort of part of what was going on to a certain degree. But it wasn't until I started to speak Catalan that things clicked. And suddenly people became more friendly. Now, I understand. I mean, I made an effort to speak the language of the people. They accepted that. I guess they saw it as an effort on my behalf to communicate better. So the other thing I found funny as well was the whole thing about the colla, the gang of friends. Oh my God. I mean, this is how I got my Catalan up and running. Like, I mean,
I used to go out on Saturday nights with like 15 people in this colla, and I mean, everybody knew each other since they were kids. People had had babies together, they were divorced, one had slept with the other. It was just such a weird, unusual experience for me that doesn't happen in Ireland. So the whole concept of friendship for me kind of changed. So well, I'll stop rambling now, but you get the point. You get the point, no? I don't know, do you have the same experience or not?
I did things the other way around. I learnt Catalan first and learnt Spanish 6 years later. But I did find, that people, remember this is the end of the 70s when people were telling me when I learnt Catalan, it was very confusing because they said, for an English person especially, it was very hard to imagine. They said, look, we really appreciate you wanting to learn Catalan. That's great, that's fantastic, but remember, by the year 2000, it'll be a dead language. Because that's what people thought at the end of the 70s, because everything was up in the air.
Yeah.
But when I started speaking it, I was amazed at how appreciative people were, and not just how would you say that? Catalan-born people, Catalan speakers who came from Galicia, who came from Andalusia. They were also incredibly appreciative. And once I remember I was with my partner who's Dutch, and we were in a Mexican restaurant, and we decided to have a margarita each, okay? So we ordered the margaritas and we were chatting away to each other, and suddenly the barman came up and said, excuse me, where are you guys from? And I said, I'm from London, she's from Amsterdam, and so forth. He said, and you speak in Catalan to each other? And he just put 2 free margaritas on the bar. So I got a lot of that, you know.
Okay, nice one. Well, in terms of definitions of friendship, there are so many. How would you define friendship?
How would I define friendship?
I mean, there are lots of sorts of friendships.
There are certain ones. I did a little bit of background on this. Maybe you can help me out with this one, Matthew, okay? So sometimes they say like a loyal best friend is the only thing you need to stay sane, okay? But there are other types of friends which I checked out. There's one, the fearless adventurer, that person that, you know, is always up for a bit of an adventure. A brutally honest confidant, somebody who will tell you how it is, lay it out for you as you need to hear it. A wise mentor, which in this case I think, Matthew, you might be my wise mentor.
Oh, please.
A friend from a different culture, as we talked about the Iranians and the Chinese and that. A polar opposite. They say opposites attract. Maybe you have a friend that is completely opposite to you, but for some strange reason you're still friends. A friendly neighbor, which in here actually the neighbors are quite friendly, so you do have one of those. A work pal, okay, somebody who work pal, or a friends with benefits, which is also
friends with benefits.
Yes.
Should we explain that? Because I'm sure not everyone knows what it is.
A friend with benefits, how would I put it to you in a Matthew-esque kind of way? A friends with benefits would be somebody that you could take to bed from time to time, but also go for a beer and have a conversation with, but with no strings attached.
Nicely put, Mark. I guess you asked.
I have to work on my Matthew-esque way of saying things.
There is a much cruder way of saying this. I don't know if I'm allowed to say it on the program, but it exists. I mean, people do use it. Fuck buddy. That's exactly the phrase. Which is a horrible phrase.
Today.
Yes, it's a horrible phrase. It's an American phrase, but it's used. You know, it's used quite widely.
Well, Mark, I bet you asked people in Premià de Mar about this.
Of course I did. You know me so well.
Okay, well, we're going to find out what they said.
Have you ever had a friend with benefits?
Yes, some of them. Yeah.
Some of them? You've had lots of them. This guy's got tons of friends with benefits. What benefits do they give you? Now that you understand.
Happiness.
When I have no partner, I used to have friends that...
On Facebook?
No, on Facebook, not on real life. I go to partying and then I have a present from them. Sex.
I try this and I think this don't work.
Why not? Why doesn't it work?
Because we are not the stones.
So you draw the line and you say, I'm friends or not friends?
Cos. Perdona. No.
Passa.
Bona tarda.
Such friendly people. Have you ever had a friend with benefits?
No.
No. Is your partner here?
Yes.
So you have to answer this no, right?
Yes.
Do you know the TV show Friends?
Yeah.
Okay, which one of them would you like to have for Friends with Benefits?
Monica.
Monica.
The black hair, definitely.
3 for 3 for Monica. Monica, right?
Yeah.
Most probably Rachel.
Jennifer Aniston.
Your wife is not listening.
Chandler.
Good answer.
Good answer, huh?
Yeah. You stayed completely off the date.
Yeah.
Well, nice one, Mark. I see you making lots of friends.
Oh yeah, I didn't
Yeah?
make any friends with benefits though.
Well, this is not the place
To discuss
admit
these
it.
kind of
Exactly,
things.
yes.
Probably not.
Well,
Not the
anyway,
platform.
I think it's time to put your friendship to test.
Okay, my friendship with who?
So I prepared with Matthew.
Ah,
Yes.
okay, cool, awesome.
So I prepared some pen and paper for you.
Okay.
I'm gonna read a question
Okay.
for both of you.
Okay.
I would like you to write down the answer quickly, and then you're gonna swap the papers.
Oh my
Ready?
God. Oh God. All right,
Okay.
let's see.
Quick and honest answers,
Quick
please.
and honest.
All right, the first one is, you've been invited to a big party organized by the Weekly Mag.
Oh, God,
Okay?
yes. Mhm.
But for unknown reasons, your friend, your buddy, has been forbidden to attend. So the question is, would you attend the party anyway or not?
This is a difficult question, huh? Because you know how I like to eat and drink. But, well, do I have to pass the answer to Matthew now?
Okay, finished?
Yes.
Yes. Please give him your answer.
Okay.
Okay. Can you read it out loud, Mark?
No. Matthew wouldn't.
Wouldn't.
He wouldn't.
The same. No, I wouldn't.
Oh, very nice.
There we
no?
go.
Very
exactly.
good people,
Matthew,
both of you.
We're joined at the
Very
hip, my
good
friend. We're
friends.
joined at the hip. We're not friends with benefits.
Okay.
No,
Second
but
question.
The key word there, if I may say so, is forbidden. Is forbidden.
Yes, for me it was as well.
Okay.
If somebody said to me that Matthew was forbidden from going somewhere and he's my friend, I would make a stand. And I would say, you know what, if he's not forbidden to go, and I think I would agree with that, I wouldn't go either.
That's a good friend.
Even if you were there, Marcella, I'm very sorry, but...
Okay, let's continue. Second question.
Yes.
Your friend invites you for a long and boring evening to show you his or her holiday pictures.
Oh, God.
Jesus.
This is like
So,
pulling teeth.
would you go, or would you just make up an excuse?
Okay, this is tricky, yeah?
1 second, just one more word.
I wonder if we wrote the same thing.
Okay.
Okay, Matthew, you want to start?
Sure. Oh, this is incredible. It's almost the same. If there was any food or wine on offer, I would.
And he says, yes, if he provided free cava. So,
More or less.
great minds think alike. If there's some food and drink involved,
Yeah. Who cares if it's boring?
I'll watch all the photographs or look at all the photographs from your trip to wherever you went.
Okay.
All right.
I see you've got a lot in common.
It seems so. It seems
And
so.
the third and last question.
Yes, okay.
Ready? Well, let's imagine your friend has to move back to Ireland or England. Okay, but he or she has no money. And the question is, how much would you be willing to lend him or her, knowing that you wouldn't see them for a while?
Oh my God. I mean, sending him back to England, that would be like punishment. But I mean, I'm sorry. I don't know. I mean, do I have to give an actual amount of money that I give
How
him?
much exactly?
How much? I'd have to calculate how much is in my bank account, which is not a lot. I'd probably have to take out a loan. I mean, I don't know.
I'm going back to London.
A loan,
you know,
a loan that would never be
not
paid
to
back.
Tokyo.
I mean, I don't know. This is...
There you go, Marcella.
Oh God,
Thank
it's
you.
gonna...
Come on, Mark. That's a lot of money there, yeah?
I don't
It
know.
took a long time.
I don't know. I mean, this is a very tricky question for me. I mean, I'll probably have to...
Okay, Mark, you go first. Why?
The price of a Ryanair ticket, that's like what, €5 back to Ireland? Thanks, Matthew, you cheap bastard.
Low season. Low
And I've
season
got
ticket.
1,000 euros to get an Airbnb and a few beers. He's a lot more generous, actually.
That's a lot of beers, yeah, Mark.
Well, I don't know. I mean, he's going to need a lot if he's to go back and live in England. I mean, he's going
No kidding.
He's going to have to keep himself well sozzled through the whole experience.
I see. Well, we must admit that Mark has been more generous.
Definitely.
Because what I would do is take a loan and probably never pay it back. I'd take it from some bank and never pay it back, so don't worry.
Oh, no. You see, you could have saved that comment because I just said you are being very generous. So anyway.
Give me a Ryanair flight, come on.
Okay, anyway, thank you for answering very honestly.
It was honest,
I'm sure
yeah.
this will be the beginning of a beautiful friendship between you
The
two.
continuation of a beautiful
there you go.
continuation.
Of course. Well, anyway, thanks so much for coming.
No
and see you
bother.
next week.
See you next week.
Well, so much for our show about friendship today with the adventurer Albert Bosch and the speaker and musician Salva López as guests. We have also listened to the prestigious piano duo Lama and Sofia Cabruja and had our third quiz, Guess What?, with Sergi Cervera, Patricia, Escalona and Màrius Serra, and much more. Just remember you can watch everything online or follow us on @TheWeeklyMagTV. And now it's time to go. But not before reminding the clue for Màrius Serra's Enigma, which is the most protective British newspaper. 8 letters, the solution of our next The Weekly Mag. And have a nice week. And remember, keep your English up and running.